She said, "Don't kiss me," so I walked away without a word. Then she begged for my attention. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, drop a like, and let me know in the comments what moment hit you the hardest. Now let's begin. They say heartbreak comes loud, betrayal, screaming, the doors slamming shut behind someone. But the truth? The real heartbreak creeps in with silence. It starts in the moments when someone you love just stops seeing you. I met Emily 5 years ago in a quiet little bookstore cafe. She was curled up near the window with a cup of black coffee and a bell jar in hand. Her presence was soft, not shy, not timid, just peaceful. She looked like still water. We ended up talking for hours that day, and from the very start, it felt like we'd known each other in some other life. She had this spark, strong but subtle, not loud but magnetic, and just like that, I fell. I didn't fight it. I didn't pace myself. I dove straight in. In the beginning, everything felt warm and right. We danced in the kitchen to 90s R&B. We cooked together. She'd text me just to say she missed me. We used to fall asleep wrapped up in each other, like we didn't know where one of us ended and the other began. She once rested her head on my chest and whispered, "I feel safest with you." And I believed her, so I built my life around that. But you know what they never warn you about? That love can die quietly. It doesn't always scream. Sometimes it just fades, like a candle burning out without a flicker. Emily started pulling away in the most subtle, confusing ways. It wasn't a sudden thing. That would have been easier. It started with little gestures. When I leaned in to kiss her cheek in the morning, she'd slightly turn her head. When I'd hug her, her arms just hung at her sides like I wasn't even there. At night, she'd roll to the edge of the bed, saying she was tired, not in the mood. And I kept making excuses for her. She's stressed from work. She just needs space. She'll come back around. So I gave more. Cooked her favorite meals. Picked her up from the office. Left sticky notes with tiny hearts. I tried. God, I tried. But the more I reached for her, the more she shrank away. There was a night. I'll never forget it. I came home with Thai takeout and a bottle of wine. She was curled up on the couch, glued to her phone. I sat beside her and asked gently, "Emily, can we talk?" She sighed, not out of anger. Something worse. Apathy. "What now?" she muttered. I told her I felt like she was slipping away from me, and I didn't know how to reach her anymore. She didn't argue. She didn't cry. She just shrugged and said, "I don't know what you want from me right now." That hit me harder than a slap. All I wanted was to feel close. A smile, a touch, a laugh. But even that was too much. Still, I held on. Maybe because I was scared to admit the truth, that I loved her way more than she loved me back. Then came the moment that changed everything. A quiet Sunday. We were getting ready to visit her parents. She was doing her makeup in the bathroom, looking radiant in that navy blue blouse I always loved. I leaned in gently to kiss her, not with passion, but tenderness. The kind of kiss couples give without thinking. But she flinched, took a step back. Her voice was cold, her eyes empty. "Don't kiss me." Just that. No emotion, no explanation. Like I was a stranger violating her space. And that's when I knew we were over. I didn't say a word, didn't ask why, didn't beg, didn't even blink. I just stepped back, grabbed my keys, and walked out the door. And that was the moment I left. Not just the house, but the version of me that used to beg for scraps of love. I didn't go to brunch. I drove for hours, aimless, shaken. Ended up at a lookout spot we once visited, back when we still dreamed together. I sat there, staring into the horizon, heart cracked wide open. And I realized something brutal. I'd already lost her long before she said, "Don't kiss me." I'd just been too in love to admit it. But something in me shifted that day. Not anger, not bitterness, just quiet resolve. I came home that evening and nothing looked different. Same apartment, same furniture, same woman sitting on the couch. But everything had changed. I didn't tell her. I didn't need to. My silence said it all. That week, I stopped trying. No more reaching for her hand. No more asking how her day went. No more hopeful looks or soft gestures. She noticed fast. By the third night, as we lay in bed, she whispered, "Is everything okay?" I turned to her. "I'm fine." That's all I gave her, because I'd spent months giving her everything: love, presence, affection, and getting nothing back. Now, I was matching her energy. I started waking up early, jogging again, going back to the boxing gym I gave up for her. Started dressing better, eating better, taking care of myself. Not for someone else, but for me. And people noticed. Friends started texting again. Coworkers said I looked good, asked if I was seeing someone new. Even strangers smiled at me more often. But at home, Emily was unraveling. She didn't say it outright, but I saw in the way she stared when I walked past in a crisp shirt. The way she stood longer in front of the mirror, applying makeup just to eat leftovers. She was trying. Too late. One night, she cooked my favorite pasta, the one she hadn't made in over a year. I said thanks. Nothing more. Another time she asked if I wanted to go out for brunch, like old times. I told her I had plans. And I did. I drove upstate, hiked alone, sat by a lake, breathed deeply, and felt peace. When I got back that night, she was sitting on the couch, wearing the sweater I used to say made her glow. Quand lit. Music playing. Where were you? She asked. Out. With who? Just me. She didn't push. She couldn't. She knew she'd lost something, and now she was scrambling to find it. 2 days later, she reached out when I walked past in a towel, fresh out of the shower. You smell good, she said, touching my arm. I nodded. Thanks. And I kept walking. She started texting me in the middle of the day. Hope your day's going well. Want to grab dinner later? I'd reply politely, but never initiated, never chased, because the truth, I'd already grieved her. The version of Emily I loved, the one who used to sing while cooking, who laughed with her whole soul. She was gone, and I had already buried her. Then came the message that cracked it all open. I miss us. Short, simple, but loaded. She didn't say it out loud. She texted it from the other room, and I stared at it for a long time. Not because I didn't expect it, but because she finally realized I was no longer hers. The next morning, she made us coffee, slid a mug across the table like it was some peace offering. Sat down, eyes soft, voice softer. I know I've been distant. I want to fix things. I looked at her, really looked, and for the first time, I saw someone trying not out of love, but fear of being left behind. I smiled kindly, took a sip, stood up, kissed her forehead, the kiss I once begged to give, and said, We'll talk soon. I didn't lie, but I didn't promise a damn thing either. Because this time, she was the one waiting. And then, day by day, I watched her unravel. She started trying everything, lighting old candles, playing our songs, cooking favorite meals. But you can't revive something that's been dead too long. The damage wasn't sudden. It was done one cold night at a time. And no perfume or pasta dish was bringing it back. Still, I let her try, not to punish her, but for closure, for both of us. One night, she asked if we could go out. Just for a drink, she said. We ended up at the same bar where we had our second date. She wore that red dress, the one she used to shine in. But this time, the glow was gone. Her laugh was forced, her eyes dim. Halfway through the drink, she reached for my hand. I pushed you away because I was scared, she said. You loved me so much, and I didn't know how to carry that. I didn't pull my hand away, but I didn't squeeze hers either. You told me not to kiss you, I said, and her face dropped. I didn't mean it like that, she whispered. But I meant everything I didn't say that day, I replied. And the worst part? I still loved you through all of it. Tears fell, real ones this time, but it was too late. She asked if there was someone else. No, I said truthfully, but there will be, and she won't have to beg for kisses. The final blow. She cried that night in the living room. I heard every sob, but I didn't comfort her. I wasn't cruel. I was just done. 2 weeks later, we sat outside at sunset. She brought me water like old times. But it wasn't the same. I don't know what else to do, she said. I feel like I lost you. You did, I answered. Not today, not last week, but back when you stopped looking at me like I mattered. She nodded, tears running down again. And I didn't stop her, didn't hug her, didn't lie. That weekend I packed, quietly, methodically. I folded my shirts, took my books, left my key on the table. At the door, she stood there, desperate, mascara smudged, eyes red. Please, she whispered, don't go. I met her gaze. I stayed when you didn't want me. Now that I've chosen peace, don't ask me to go back to pain. And I left. I drove out to a cabin by the lake, watched the stars, slept without tossing, woke up lighter. She texted the next morning. I am sorry. I can't sleep without you. I didn't reply because I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't trying to teach her a lesson. I just didn't live in that story anymore. She broke something in me, and I rebuilt it, stronger, quieter, smarter. Now, when someone says don't kiss me, I know how to hear what they really mean, and I know when to walk away without looking back.